My name is Lena. I'm a quiet girl from a valley town surrounded by green hills. I was married at the age of 24. Like every young woman, my mind was a garden of dreams. Dreams of shared secrets whispered in the dark, of a comforting hand finding mine, of a partner who would look at me and make me feel cherished, important, and truly seen. But alongside these beautiful dreams, there were also weeds of fear, a deep seated fear of the unknown, a fear of what my wedding night would truly be like. I had collected so many stories from friends, cousins, and the vast, anonymous world of the internet. Some described it as magical, while others spoke of it being painful. Some women cried from joy, others from sorrow. Sorrow. I had no idea which story was destined to become mine. The wedding day was a whirlwind of rituals and emotions. Bright smile. Upon arriving at his house, which was now my home, I was greeted with kindness and warm welcomes. But beneath my polite smiles, my heart was a frantic drum of nerves. I was so anxious that my hands felt like ice and my lips were parched. I smiled through it all, but inside, I felt a tremor running through me. After the last of the guests had departed and a hush fell over the house, I was gently guided to our room. The bed was decorated not with roses, but with fragrant white gardenias. The air was filled with their sweet scent, mixed with the clean smell of recent rain coming through a slightly open window. I sat on the edge of the bed, my gaze fixed on the floor, my pulse thudding in my ears. My hands were clenched tightly in my lap, but I could still feel them shake. My thoughts were a scattered mess. A few moments later, the doorknob turned softly. I didn't raise my head, but every sense told me it was him. My husband, a man whose name was now linked with mine, but whose soul was still a mystery to me. He entered the room quietly, closing the door with a gentle click behind him. My heart hammered against my ribs, and I held my breath, my lips pressed into a thin line. I could sense his approach, but I kept my eyes down, too afraid to meet his gaze. He sat on the bed near me, but maintained a respectful distance. The silence in the room felt heavy, charged with unspoken questions. He made no sudden moves. He wasn't in a rush. Instead, his voice came low and soft. Lena, I imagine this is all very strange. Please know there is no pressure. I was hoping we could just talk for a bit. His voice was steady and calming, like the gentle rumble of thunder long after a storm has passed. I slowly lifted my head and looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time. He had a nervous smile, not of a man ready to claim possession, but of someone trying to coax a shy kitten out from its hiding place. Voice. That gentle uncertainty brought me a strange sense of peace and a deep, blooming respect. He offered me a glass of water from the nightstand. As I reached for it, our fingers brushed for a fleeting second. The unexpected contact sent a tiny, warm spark through my skin. Man, I felt a blush creep up my neck and quickly looked away again. He gave a soft, understanding chuckle. It's all right to be nervous. I am too. I promise I'm not as scary as I look. His words made a small, genuine smile touch my lips, and with it, the high wall of my fear began to crumble. He started to talk about simple things, about a funny mistake his nephew made, about how his own heart was racing before he opened the door. I was taken aback. It had never occurred to me that a man might also feel shy or afraid on his wedding night. His honesty was a disarming gift, and with each word, my own anxiety lessened. After a while, a comfortable silence settled between us. He looked at me, his eyes sincere, and asked, "May I hold your hand?" I could only manage a slow nod. He reached out and took my hand in his. It was warm and strong, yet his touch was incredibly gentle, not demanding or rough. He held my hand as if it were a fragile seashell, as if I were something precious. My heart began to beat quickly again, but this time it wasn't a rhythm of fear, but of something new and sweet. I felt his thumb stroke the back of my hand in a slow, deliberate circle. The simple gesture felt deeply intimate and personal. My body was alive with sensations I had never known. Every breath I took felt more profound. He didn't move any closer just yet. Instead, he leaned forward slightly and said, his voice earnest, "I want to be very clear about one thing. Nothing will happen tonight that you are not completely ready for. Your peace of mind is the most important thing to me." At his words, my eyes suddenly filled with tears. I wasn't sure why I was crying. Perhaps it was the immense relief washing over me, or perhaps it was a flicker of nascent love. It might have been because my mind had braced for so many difficult scenarios, and this man was showing me a kindness I hadn't dared to dream of. He gently reached out and brushed away a tear from my cheek with his thumb. The soft, caring touch on my skin made me close my eyes. I wasn't used to such tender affection. It wasn't born of lust, it was born of profound care. Then he slowly drew nearer and placed a lingering, warm kiss on my forehead. I could feel the warmth of his lips long after he pulled away. That kiss wasn't for my body, it felt like a promise to my soul. Sky. He whispered against my hair, "We have our entire lives, Lena. Let tonight be about building a foundation of love, not about fulfilling an obligation." And so we lay down side by side. He gathered me into his arms, and I rested my head on his chest. I listened to the sound of his heartbeat, slow, strong, and steady. It was the most comforting sound in the world, and I felt utterly safe. We didn't rush anything. There was no pressure, no wild passion. But in that quiet embrace, I felt a connection deeper than I had ever imagined possible. He softly kissed my hair and traced gentle patterns on my arm with his fingertips. When he finally tilted my chin to kiss my lips, I didn't resist or turn away. I met his kiss. Because in that short time, he had earned my complete trust. Because I finally felt ready. The kiss was slow and gentle, a little awkward as new things often are, but it was beautiful. We didn't know how to be perfect partners yet, but we were real. We were simply human, finding our way together. That night was not just about the consummation of a marriage. It was the true beginning of our journey, a journey founded on respect, deep care, and a blossoming love. Even now, when I look back on that night, I smile. Not because of any specific act, but because of the gentle, respectful way our story began. And I wish for every woman to know that your first night is yours to define. It should be a memory of comfort, not a trial of fear. It should be about forging a connection, not bowing to pressure. It's about two hearts meeting, not just two bodies. I know I was incredibly lucky. Sir, I married a man who understood that fundamental truth. And to every man, I hope you choose to be that kind of person for your partner. Make her feel safe. Make her feel truly seen, because that is the fertile ground where a true and lasting love can finally begin to grow.